This is the SynthiMuse. What is the SynthiMuse? The SynthiMuse is a random MIDI note generator that can be sent to any source. We can control pitch, accent and length, as well as creating loops on the fly and controlling those via an LFO or via an external or internal clock. In addition to that, we've got a microphone built into the SynthiMuse, or the ability to insert audio as a way of triggering the random note generation. Let's look at pitch. We can set the key. We can set the range of notes that can be randomly picked from, starting at a single note, and then broadening that range. Allowing for some very ambient pieces. I like to use the SynthiMuse for melody lines, so let's constrain that randomization. We have an offset here, which is essentially allowing us to pick our octave. Here we can stay in the lower registers, or move right up to the highest octaves of this electric piano VST that I'm using. Let's stick mid-range. Finally, we have the scale, which constrains the available notes that can be randomly picked. Let's leave that one there. Next, let's look at accent. Accent allows us to randomly select a velocity for each of our notes. As we increase the randomization, we increase the range of velocity that can be selected. As we increase the offset, we're essentially increasing the ceiling, or the maximum velocity. Let's constrain that. We can also send an LFO to the accent. And let's select a sine wave LFO. Let's increase the rate. And decrease the randomization so we feel the effects of that LFO. I'm going to decrease here the random rests in between notes, which allows us more notes. Next, we have length. Length allows us to randomize the length of each note. Again, we have an offset which acts much like a threshold or a maximum value. We can also choose to quantize that. I'll stick to quantizing to 64ths. Let's decrease the randomization in length, and let's increase the random introduction of rests. As you see, as we begin to increase towards the maximum, we actually, in effect, mute the output signal. Let's add some LFO to that length. Decrease the randomization. Okay, I like this loop. Let's store it. And let's switch to the loop. And now we can control how much of the 32 beats we want to hear. Again, this gives us a very live control over the melody. Okay. Let's say I want to start this loop one note further along. We simply nudge. And you notice now when we come down to the first beat, we actually have a note, whereas in the previous one, it was a rest. Finally, let's look at the audio trigger. As an alternative to using MIDI to trigger the random notes, we can use an audio signal. The SynthiMuse has a microphone inbuilt, or we can actually insert with a 3.5mm jack and play audio of our own, which, once exceeding a certain threshold, set by the gain here, will trigger the randomization. Let's start by increasing the gain. And what you'll notice is as I speak, we're getting some random notes generated. Let's decrease the range of notes. Let's decrease the offset. And let's start tapping out some notes.